Hello everyone and welcome to your NARSA weekly update for the week commencing Monday the 20th of January 2025. It's Gary here again. Well, do you know what? This is this is a wee bit better, isn't it? You know, when we get a chance to talk to each other when we have had a better week on the football pitch. And this past week was most certainly a good week on the football pitch. What would that be? 8 goals scored, none conceded, and we signed a player as well. Who knew in this transfer window, 20 days in, we've signed one player on loan who has zero first team experience in the French league anyway, although we got him from Lille, and that's of course Rafael Fernandez, who is centre back, my understanding is, and he looks like he's a big unit of a boy, and we have him until till the end of June with an option to buy, not an obligation to buy. So I think Philippe Clement was saying we'll get a chance to see him. He gets a chance to see us if we like what we see, and there's a bit of a mutual desire to continue the relationship, then we'll get an opportunity to do just that. So hopefully we'll get a chance to see him this week. We did see him on the pitch yesterday at, I think it was half time, wasn't it? And we got an opportunity just to see if he can help us shore things up at the back, especially when we get away from home, when we seem to be all the more vulnerable. And you know, we did what we had to do this past week, and that hopefully sets us up for success for this coming week. I'm not going to say for the remainder of the season, because I think I typically end up saying stuff like that and then we end up having hope, and then the hope goes away, and then it's replaced by despair and anger and disgust and apathy and a whole bunch of other negative connotation emotions and feelings. So I'm just going to break it down and say, let's do this for a week. And we're going to, this week, we need success this week. We need to go to Old Trafford against, not my words, the worst team in Manchester United's history. And then we need to go to Tannadice and do what we need to do there to pick up the 3 points. Now, if I had a dollar, Canadian or American, ideally American, because the dollar in America is much stronger than a Canadian one right now. For every time, that I've had a conversation with someone to say, I wouldn't be surprised if we go and get a point or 3 at Old Trafford and then get beat by Dundee United. I would have enough to take Leo for dinner tonight for his first night back from his mum's, but that doesn't work like that in life. It seems to be a bit of a consensus, and I don't think anybody would be surprised. I don't even know why I'm kind of laughing. I'm laughing because it's true. Who knows what's going to actually happen, but at some point, we need to break this away hoodoo thing that we have over us, and who better than against Dundee United to kind of rub salt into the wounds for them getting papped out of the Scottish Cup this evening by their closest rivals, Dundee. So we'll see how that goes. On to the game segment for this week, and of course I did mention that just very briefly in the introduction. The first game was last Wednesday's brilliant 3-0 home win against, and I'm going to take great delight in saying this, against early season pretenders Aberdeen. Man, they are tanking. I know they had a decent result in the Scottish Cup there on the weekend, but they are tanking in the league, and it's so great to see. And it was really easy, wasn't it? It was like the home game and the Old Firm game there just after the turn of the year. It was very, very easy all over the pitch for the entire game. We created lots and lots and lots of chances early on. We fluffed most of them, and you know what I felt for the majority of the game? Our decision making was kind of like half a split second slow. It wasn't super quick, you know, and it ended up just kind of costing us, because you have those chances, you miss the chances, and then all of a sudden you're kind of like, well, this game's a bit tighter than it should be. And then of course we've got Iggy Man, who stroked home after their defender made a complete mess of the goalie passing it out to him, which was a thing of beauty. And then we had Kelly. I mean, there was not too much action other than what I just mentioned there, but Kelly made that great save from the boys shooting from almost the halfway line. And if you didn't get a chance to see Liam Kelly's interview after the game, the commentator, I think it was it RTV? I think it was, had said, what were you thinking when they took that shot, when the person took that shot? And he said, where is my goal? Where is my goal? That's what he was thinking. Quite a comedy moment there, but he did well, did what he had to do. and got that organised. Nisbet should have probably been booked for a tug, then a pull. On our I can't even remember who did it on now. Was it Raskin? I can't remember now. And that's the theme that we're going to get to when I get to the referee watch here. Egeman pulls out a great shot and a great save from their goalie. Clancy then gives a foul on Raskin for absolutely nothing other than winning the ball at the very, very start of the second half. Hadji hits the bar. There's a potential red card midway through the second half there, but absolutely nada, nothing. And it's the exact same thing that Hadji, when it went to the monitor, that Hadji got red carded for in his return to first team action. I think was it against Motherwell? I think it was against the Motherwell at Ibrox, which is just absolutely ridiculous. There was nothing different about it at all. Well, the first time I seen it, I thought that's a foul, maybe a yellow card, and then you see it afterwards, and the guy goes over the ball, the guy goes into his ankle, like that's a red card. Nope, okay. And then Balogun hit the post, and then Balogun finally gets that second goal to make sure that the game is completely done. And it was from a brilliant cross, not the first one as well, by the way, from Insiala, and that to put the game away. And then the game was wrapped up by CD9, who's in a rich vein of form again. It's great to see, with a great run and a finish at the end. And it was a long time, wasn't it, for him to get the run all the way up, and all the naysayers were already making up their stories about, see, tell you, look, I knew this was going to happen, this guy's a donkey, and all the hopers, all the fans, all the supporters are like, please finish this, man, just please finish it. And finish it he did, and it was no more than we deserved. 3-0, Aberdeen were lucky to come away with a 3-0. And the overall, in terms of positives, the result, definitely. The performance, absolutely excellent. As I've said over the last couple of weeks, there's nothing wrong, absolutely nothing wrong with our form at Ibrox domestically. It's absolutely excellent. It really is. Was spreading the goals around is always a good thing. Egeman keeping his hot streak going. He's just dynamite, the guy. So he is. He's absolutely brilliant to watch. And then showing everyone, like Rangers, showing everyone just how poor a team Aberdeen are. I said after the game at Pittodrie back last year there that we didn't deserve to lose that game. I don't think, maybe a draw would have been okay. I thought we deserved to win it. We created enough chances, just couldn't put them away. So that was good to give them a real good bloody nose after that. And great to see CD9 getting a goal, and when he's been kind of up against it, to be dead honest. And who knows whether he's going to stick around for the next part of the season here. I mean, his goals record in terms of goals to games, I know that he misses a lot. I know he misses some sitters and maybe doesn't score in the bigger games, but his goals to games ratio is very strong right now. So that's a positive for him. Good for him. I'm very glad. Negatives. Do you know what? Honestly, probably just not scoring more goals and leaving it kind of right to the death. 3-0 sounds great. It was 2 goals in injury time. So not that it was one of those where you're like, oh, we could maybe lose a chance, get a breakaway and not manage the game properly. I just didn't feel like there was any hassle of that whatsoever. I thought we were brilliant the entire game. In terms of the stats, kind of surprised at the possession, to be honest. We only had 58% possession, and it felt in the game like it would be high 60s, maybe low 70s, but the stats say 58. Who am I to argue with the stats? We had 24 shots on goal with 12 on target. So here we go. 12 on target, we scored 3. I've been saying over the last wee while, now that's a quarter. We're trying to aim for minimum half, ideally a wee bit more than half. And I think in fancy tactical terms these days, this is called XG, or the likelihood it is that we're going to score. So we're dropping down now from a half to a third to now a quarter of the chances, and that's not good enough. It's not. We need to score more of the chances that we get. Versus Aberdeen, 4 shots on goal with 2 on target. In terms of the referee watch, Kevin Clancy, I just, I don't know what more to say about this guy. I'm kind of rooting that he has a good game, and it wasn't too long ago that I actually gave him plaudits and kudos for having a good game, but he just referees us to a different standard. And I don't know if this is subject to the complaints that we made in the public statements that we made after the Old Firm Cup final there, but it's just it's weird. Do you ever notice how quickly the VAR checks are for fouls on us, and how slow they are for our goals, just to make sure they can't find absolutely anything? We should still dig our heels in, still do what we need to do, and call out this garbage, because the foul that should have been a red card wasn't even looked at seriously. Raskin's booking's ridiculous. And as I mentioned earlier, Nisbet's challenge, just play the game fairly. Let's just do that. So he's getting I'm going to be generous today. He's going to get a 6 out of 10 for that. Not impressed there, Kevin. Second game was yesterday's 5-0 win at home to Fraserburgh, sending us into the next round of the Scottish Cup, of course. And it was a hat trick for CD9. So 4 goals in 2 games for him, and then other goals by Inciala and Ross McCausland as well. And it was one of those games, wasn't it? Kind of rough to watch. There, and certainly not a very inspiring first half. But then the fitness and the skill gap really came in the second half, and we were absolutely golden. I think there was only one real bit of drama, and that was when Mason Munn in goal had decided he was going to just pass it over to their team, and then almost got himself injured trying to make up for that mistake. But other than that, there was no danger. We weren't going to win it. It was just a matter of if not when, and then how many after that. So the positives were in the next round of the cup, and we had a really strong end to the game. CD9's hat trick. Great to see James Tavernier back and starting and giving the captain's armband to CD9 as well, to captain the team and score a hat trick. Not very many players can say that from a Rangers history perspective, I'm sure. Enciala was good again. I think he got man of the match, both on Rangers TV and by the sponsors at Ibrox as well. And great to see Bailey Rice, Finlay Curtis, and Zach Lovelace getting more game time. And I think Leon King came on towards the end of the game as well. So that bodes well. I mean, obviously the type and style of opponent that we had gives us the opportunity to do that. But minutes in these guys' legs, experience on the big stage is going to be a great thing for them as well. Negatives, I think really the only negative was kind of around about, for me anyway, around about Robin Proper. He doesn't seem to be quite himself, which is a wee bit of a worry, because I think the more game time he's got, the better he's been getting, and he's starting to understand the game, starting to understand what he needs to bring to his game to fit into our game. And he got substituted, and he just doesn't seem quite himself. So hopefully it looks like he was maybe putting himself through the pain barrier to make sure nothing silly happened at the back until the game was pretty much done and dusted, or we had a good idea how it was going to play out. But yeah, I don't want to see him injured. I want to see him continue. I don't want to see anyone injured, of course, but certainly not him, as he's, as I say, coming into a bit of a rich vein of form, let's say. In terms of the stats, it said we were 76% possession. Again, a little bit lower than I thought. 20 shots on goal, 9 on target. So here we go. 9 on target would give us goals of either 4 or 5. We scored 5. So that's good. We're above the 50% in terms of that. So that's good. That's good shooting, literally and figuratively, versus the I think was it two on goal, 1 on target, something like that. I think it was. And then the referee watch, I can't actually remember who the referee was, and it's actually a bit of a chore. If I don't catch it during the game, it's a bit of a chore. I didn't recognise the guy, so obviously it's not one of the main guys who's been around for a wee while. But if I don't catch it during the game, it's a chore to actually find it after the fact. So I didn't bother this week. But he didn't make any mistakes that I could see, or any things that really held us back or caused annoyance. So I'll give him the standard 7 out of 10. So what does that mean? This is why I'm recording the podcast a wee bit late today. I can now confirm, if you don't know already, which would make me say, where have you been? We got drawn at home once again to Queen's Park, the original Glasgow derby, as my brother-in-law cheerily said on the NARSA WhatsApp group. And that's in the 5th round, and the ties are going to be played there either February the 8th or 9th. It would be good if we were the 8th, wouldn't it? I guess it depends. Actually, do you know what? Maybe that's... No, that shouldn't be a European game, so I think we should be good to play on a Saturday. So yeah, 8th or 9th, and at home to Queen's Park. I was hoping we were going to get that mob, get them out of the tournament nice and early, and then can concentrate on our path to glory at Hampden, but we'll take whatever we need to take. In terms of league games, I'm just going to do a wee bit of a tracker as we go forward here now that I have it written down. We've played 22 games now, 12 at home, 23 games, sorry, 12 at home and 11 away. And at home, we've won 11 and we've drawn 1. And we've got a goal difference of 27. I mean, that's almost immaculate. Away, I don't need to talk about that too much in terms of a negative context this week because we didn't have an away game. But just as a reminder, we've won 3, we've lost 4, and we've drawn 4. And we have a goal difference of -1 away from home. That's garbage, isn't it? Oh my word. So yeah, we'll see what happens this week. And in terms of this week, very, very big week. Big week. We are away to Man United, as I mentioned earlier there, Thursday the 23rd of January. And that is a 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time kickoff, 8 p.m. UK. They are, what would you call them? I mean, their manager called them the worst team in the history of Man United. Could be a bit of an English as your second language barrier type thing, but it's a good headline anyway. I think they're England's yo-yo team. They seem to show up against the bigger teams and just can't seem to be able to understand how to play down to the opposition, if you know what I mean. So I guess you never know. We're going there with a for me anyway, with good optimism, and quite rightly so, that we can take something from this game and put ourselves into a fantastic position for the following week, which is our final European game of this league format, and hopefully we will be looking forward to a really favourable tie in the playoffs or in the last 16. So we'll see what that looks like. In terms of the weekend's game, we're away to Dundee United on Sunday the 26th of January, which is also Leo's first driving lesson, first formal driving lesson. I've been teaching him for the last almost couple of years, and I don't know. I'm not that great. I'm not that great a driver, I don't think. So he's getting some formal lessons, because if you do the formal lessons, you get a break on your insurance, and that will help him when he goes for his bona fide license come the 10th of May, which is his 16th birthday. That's how they roll here, folks. A little bit of a shuddering thought. And that's the Dundee United game is the 26th, as I say. It's an early one for us, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, noon UK. And we haven't really done what we need to do to Dundee United, I don't think. I think they were the only team. It was Dundee United that got a draw at Ibrox earlier in the season, but they've just came off the back of a disappointing result. I'm sure that they would be disappointed by that. So let's take them to task on Sunday, give them something to think about, and move on from there. In terms of shout outs, I have to say, pretty sad shout outs this week. And I'm going to start with the news, and I'm just taking it directly from the Rangers website here. And we heard a little bit about this on Thursday. And I don't have any other details about this, but I'm just going to read out. Rangers Football Club is devastated to have learned of the tragic passing of one of our supporters at last night's match with Aberdeen. The thoughts of everyone at Rangers are with the family and friends. The club will be reaching out to the family to offer our support at this deeply sad and difficult time. My understanding is it was a late 30s female, a woman that passed away. No idea of the circumstances, no idea in terms of where she was sitting and what actually happened and such. But that's absolutely tragic, isn't it? You're just going to the football game, you're delighted, you get to see Rangers, you get to see and feel the atmosphere against a big rival and put in a really strong performance, and then you don't get to go home. Can you imagine that? Can you absolutely imagine that? Oh my word, that's just awful. So sincere condolences to everybody from the women's family, from everyone here at NARSA. And just to continue with this, we have another two, unfortunately, just to pass on condolences to the family and friends of Dennis Law, Scottish legend Dennis Law, who passed away at the age of 84. And he was a big blue nose and said a lot of very nice things about Rangers over the years, and was obviously a very famous Scottish export, and just seemed to be universally liked. I mean, I always remember back to Still Game, and the person doing the interpretation of Dennis Law, and it was so it was so like him, and he seemed to take it in very, very good fun. And I don't know if you know this or not, maybe you do, but he's the only ever Scotsman to win the Ballon d'Or, and he won that back in 1964, and the first British winner as well. So absolutely, absolutely incredible that he would be the first Scotsman to win that, and just a legend gone. Absolutely, absolutely heartbreaking. And someone, I can't remember who it was, had posted, I think it was maybe Mike from Winnipeg, had posted the front cover of the match program for this coming Thursday's game against Manchester United is going to have Dennis Law emblazoned on the front as well. If the cover that he shared on the WhatsApp list was the same cover, it's absolutely poignant. It's a brilliant photo, so good for him. And the final one for this week, another blue nose, is former Dunfermline and Aberdeen manager Jimmy Calderwood passed away at the age of 69. 69 is very, very, very young, in my opinion, in my my understanding as well. I understand he was suffering. I think it was from dementia over the last 6, 7, 8 years, something like that. But holy moly, I mean that is very, very, very young to be passing away. He was always good banter, the type and style of interviewee that you could watch because you're always going to get something from him. And just one of these guys again, like Dennis Law, just a likable guy. So sincere condolences to his family and friends and the world of football as well. 69, 84 kind of feels like, right, okay, you've had a good innings, well done, congratulations on everything that you did. Still feels a bit young, to be honest, 84, but 69, no, no way, no way. Okay, so transitioning on to something else, the Melbourne City Loyal, of course, are having their Culture Weekend, and that's this coming November, I believe it is, or is it November next year? I need to put the date in. I think I said that last week as well, didn't I? But I'll keep the link there. The link will be there on the show notes between now and event time. Ian Ferguson, Gary Stevens, Stuart Monroe, all going. Boat cruise, gala dinner. They're going to do it right. And who knows, if I make it big between now and then with my coaching business, then maybe I'll get a chance to fly over and see all the boys and girls at the Melbourne City Loyal Ranger Supporters Club. And here's a beauty. The women's team beat that mob 2-1 to get to their third consecutive Sky Sports Cup final, and they've won it the last two times as well. And they're going to play Hibs now. That's not quite as easy as it sounds. If you hear of anything that's not that mob or Glasgow City, you kind of think it's easy, but as I've been saying over the last wee while, Hibs and Hearts are doing very well to make it a top five now, and they're really clipping at Rangers' heels. So that's not going to be a gimme, absolutely not going to be a gimme. But it's great to see them get into that, and it was 2-1 with that mob scoring in injury time. So the game was edging itself to a finale or to a close with the home fans or the Rangers fans, of course. Anyway, enjoying it as we always do towards the end of that. So brilliant to see. Congratulations to the women's team for that. And just a reminder, it's coming up quick here now, but just a reminder for the Narco Curry weekend, and that's of course being held in London, Ontario. Any inquiries for that, you can email narco2025 at outlook.com, and you can get an opportunity to find out a bit more about what's happening there. It's Thursday the 13th to Sunday the 16th of February, and we now know that the Rangers game is going to be on the Sunday. I believe it is. Yes, it is. And everything, including the curry now, because the venue for the curry on the Saturday night was TBD, but they've managed to keep everything, kind of enclosed within the Scots Corner, which is home to the London Rangers Supporters Club. So that's great news. So that's going to be a good turn for the Scots Corner, and it's going to be nice and easy for everybody to know exactly where they should go because it's the same place, apart from the Brewery Tour and the London Knights hockey game as well. So well done to Andy Burnett and everyone organising that. It's sure to be a great time. In terms of our convention update, it's 142 days and 20 weeks until we go to Kissimmee in Osceola County in Florida, and that's of course from the 12th to the 15th of June, and we are going to be at the Omni at Champions Gate. We have, I've been threatening to announce the golf, I've been threatening to announce other VIPs, I've been threatening to announce our entertainment, and if for regular listeners, you'll know that it's a bit odd that we haven't done that yet, and I'll tell you a bit more about that when we get to an overview of NARSA's general meeting that we held yesterday. But we have rooms out for sale, we have the tickets out for sale. I'll keep the links there in the show notes for all of that. Just a reminder, the tickets are $265 per package, 3-night package, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And I did do an interview on Heart and Hand flagship last week, which I mentioned during last week's podcast as well. And I also did it was supposed to be Wednesday, but it ended up being Thursday, an interview which you can see my beautiful face on the Rangers Review with Chris Jack from the Rangers Review as well. And just basically trying to get the word out to do some marketing and such, because it's the numbers aren't where we want the numbers to be, and we want everybody to have a great experience when they're there, but there are certain finances that go with us putting on a good event, and us selling tickets for the event is one of the main driver of revenue and operating funds for us to do that. So we are getting concerned here, and I'll talk more about that as we go forward. But it was good. Yeah, back to the Rangers review part. Once we get that advertised, we'll put it out on our socials. You get a chance to hear a wee bit more about what we're doing, why we're doing what we're doing, and stuff, and a bit around about the convention. And there's also going to be a very special offer from the Rangers review to NARSA members and friends of NARSA members as well. So stay tuned for that. I'll talk about that next week. I'm assuming it will be out early this week. They said it was either going to be on the weekend or early in the week. So early this week, I imagine it will be. Okay, so on to other business. We did have the general meeting yesterday, as I mentioned, basically straight after the Scottish Cup game, and we had a reasonable turnout, which is good. You know, it's these ones are usually ghost town, and it's a lot of effort to put together and get the meeting organised just to not have a quorum and then move forward with nothing to show for the endeavour and hard work that we've put in. But the main theme, really, the main point of discussion overall, there was lots of discussion, which was great, and you'll get to see the minutes when they get published. But the main thing was around the convention, and me just basically posing a question to the floor to say, why are people not purchasing tickets for the convention this year? Are you waiting? Is there something wrong? Is that, you know, is there something material that you'd like to let us know about that we can maybe do something about? And the general consensus, actually, do you know what? There really wasn't a general consensus. It wasn't just one thing. I think there's a genuine apathy around Rangers fans in general to invest any more of their hard-earned money in Rangers. And I think it's been accumulating over time since 2012. And we all know what happened in 2012. And, you know, it's a very expensive weekend. Of course it is, especially if you're coming from Canada with the state of the Canadian to US dollar. Very, very expensive weekend. And, you know, other organisations are providing more options for potential guests as well. It used to be, of course, back in the day that NARSA was the only show in town, and then NARSA came up and they're doing a great job of organising and executing on their conventions every single year. And now we've got ERSA really up in their game and doing a fantastic job. And people have only got so much money to go around, and it's fabulous to be able to have that type and style of luxury of choosing. You know, this year I'll maybe do ERSA, next year I'll take a breather, the year after I'll do NARSA and things like that. So I don't know what it is. There was no discernible feedback to say you've catastrophically got this wrong, these guests, this location, you know, the marketing and advertising or such. So we just have to continue to market, to plug the information out there, to see what we can do. We're in conversations with the hotel to see if we can and make sure we come to some sort of necessary arrangement, because of course this is a 2-year cycle, and we signed this contract, you know, almost 18 months ago now. Actually, I guess it's actually just about a year ago, about 18 months come convention time, based on what we thought was going to happen in terms of the team performing, in terms of there being actual genuine interest in the event, but it's falling very short of what we expected, and you know, we're worried about that. That's not something that we want to be concerned about. Typically at this point we're trying to hone in on gifts, we're trying to finalize the final travel details for our VIPs and such. We're not overly concerned about selling tickets, which we are this time. I'm all for new experiences, kind of not like this actually. So my plea, my desired ask of you right now is, if you're genuinely thinking about coming to the convention, or you're genuinely planning on coming to the convention, can you go to the NARSA website and purchase your tickets, please, so that we know how many people are coming. I know that not everyone's going to stay at the host hotel. The host hotel is a fabulous hotel, and it's got amenities that we can absolutely thoroughly enjoy when we're there. We don't have to travel too far for anything, for golf, for football, or for the pools and entertainment and such like that. And you're not going to get a better deal in the area unless you're going to an Airbnb or a Vrbo or whatever it is they're called these days. But you know, the host hotel is obviously part of the biggest expenditure that we have, so we have to see what that looks like as we're going forward. But anyway, back to my ask. Please, if you are coming, please book your tickets so that we can get a better understanding of how many guests we're actually accommodating. That would be very, very, very much appreciated. On to the communications section, the Gers guide for this week. Inside Ibrox today, the press conference, the post-match press conference with Conor Barron yesterday. Good to see him back in the starting lineup. Then information about the Scottish Cup 5th round draw and the Rangers women team highlights from yesterday's game, and that's included in away days as well. Tomorrow, as per usual, is the loan review. On Wednesdays, the press conference for the Man United game. On Thursday is the Man United game, and a feature on RTV, All the Goals, and it's former Manchester United and Rangers player Andre Kanchelskis. Oh, I'll start that one again. Andre Kanchelskis. Oh, wow, Gary, that was a good one. So, yeah, Andre Kanchelskis, very, very popular figure at Old Trafford and at Ibrox as well. So, there's a feature, All the Goals for him. I'm hoping it's all the goals for Rangers and nothing to do with the goals for Man United. And then on Friday, we have the press conference for the Dundee United match. And there's also a big interview with very good friend of NARSA, Willie Henderson, on Friday as well. So please do check that one out. That'll be brilliant. He's always great for a story. And of course, he was the life and soul of the party at our last convention in Toronto a couple of years back there. Not too much going on Saturday in Rangers land, and then on Sunday's the Dundee United game, and Rangers women's team are away to Spartans back in league action, and that's at Ainsley Park at 1 p.m. UK time. Just a quick plug for this week's annual Burn Supper, and that's presented by Douglas Lang and Co. I'll leave the link in for tickets if you're looking for last minute tickets. That's this Friday the 24th, and another plug for the Rangers International Coaching Convention, and that's from the 3rd to the 6th of April, which when I first started talking about this seemed like ages and ages and ages away, but now it's just a couple, well, I guess 3 months away, 4 months away, something like that. So it's getting there. And yeah, that will do it for this week, my friends. As always, I like to take this opportunity to thank you very, very much for taking the time to listen. Please do share this with whomever you think might enjoy it. And you know what? This week is a glamour week. And back in the day when Alex Ferguson was at Man United, I used to like Man United because of Alex Ferguson. I still get ribbed about that these days, but I've been an Alex Ferguson fan forever, certainly since he left Aberdeen anyway. And, you know, we've earned the right to go to Old Trafford, to expect a performance for our team, to expect something miraculous that we might want to put as at the forefront of our minds in terms of, you know, history. I was there when, where were you when that happened? And it doesn't matter how they're doing. They're still one of the glamour clubs in world football right now, and we've earned the right, as I say, to go and enjoy it. And I, for one, would love it if we got something from the game to continue to pile the pressure on them and to give us a fabulous, fabulous situation going into the USG game the following week to qualify without having to go through the playoffs. I would love that. Happy Burns Day when it comes. Congratulations to Donald Trump for getting himself inaugurated today and then signing all these orders to basically undo everything that Joe Biden did for the last 4 years and get TikTok back up and running in the States. And until next week, take care of yourself and all the very, very best. Okay? Follow.